let's have a day. We're out at the South Philly Super Site, and today we have a threshold run. So essentially it's a 2 for 20, which means that there's 2 intervals, each 20 minutes, and today I'm gonna try aiming for averaging like a 8-minute pace for that 20 minutes with a 15-minute warm-up around my zone 2 pace, which is like between like 11:30 to 12:30 minutes per mile, 5-minute recovery in between, then a cool down, which is like back to the zone 2 pace. So excited for it. It's a beautiful day. You have the stadium, everything around. It's my first time here as well, so should be a really good day. And it's cold. It's about like 32 degrees out, and I think like days like today, it really shows you what you need to do if you really want to achieve a certain goal or a certain outcome in your life. It kind of does, in some sense, sacrificing comfort, and I feel like a lot of times in life, you know, it could easily hit a treadmill, but I don't like treadmills. I like running outside. Days like today where, you know, you really need to push yourself to really try becoming like who you were meant to be, or who you are, by putting yourself in those kind of more uncomfortable situations. One philosophical concept which is really interesting to me, and I didn't notice till later in my life, that really was a bigger foundation than I really noticed, versus early on in my life. It might have been like more subconscious in the past, but it's really based on this idea of the will to power by Friedrich Nietzsche. And the will to power is a little confused in modern day. It's not about power over other people, but it's the foundation of it is really the power over oneself. Power over oneself to overcome, to transcend your former self. Jordan Peterson said before in one podcast that the only person you need to beat in the final analysis is your former self. And so I think that's really the foundation of everything that I'm doing in terms of training each day. It's more about that idea of self-overcoming. 2 versions of yourself, and one sacrificing that comfort of staying inside, that goes out and pushes themselves as hard as they can, is always going to be the one that can potentially find themselves at a deeper level than the other version. So that's it. Let's have a great day.
Left.
Right, just finished the second interval. Really good day. Felt really good on both of them. The first one, I came out really hot. I could tell I was just like fired up beginning of the day. Just went out extremely fast. In the second interval, I was overall just pretty steady pace. This was a lactate threshold run. Glucose goes to a pathway called glycolysis, basically to make energy, produce ATP. Lactate is a byproduct of glycolysis. So when you feel that burning, when you're really going at a fast pace, that's actually the increase in H+ ions building up. For lactate threshold runs, we want to get to a pace where it's not too fast that you're switching over to pure anaerobic glycolysis, and it's not too slow in which you burn fat for fuel using the mitochondria oxidative phosphorylation, but you kind of want to get to a pace where you're using both. It's basically a difference between the type 1 versus type 2 fibers. Type 1 have a lot of mitochondria. Type 2, they're more focused on glycolysis. Lactate is able to be produced by the type 2 fibers, released into the bloodstream. As you increase your lactate threshold, LT2, that increases the ability of lactate to be shuttled back into the cell by the MCT1 transporter within the type 1 fiber. And endurance athletes actually have increased MCT1 transporters on their cell lining. That increases the ability of lactate to be used for fuel. Believe that's the mechanism, but need to definitely check my sources. But yeah, and I love exercise physiology. I love training, and I love trying to integrate the exercise phys with the training. So, and it was a really great session. It's basically just a slow and steady process of, like I said, trying to be better each day and to transcend yourself to become the best version of you. So yeah, all right.